let me see. It's been some time. It's complicated. Yeah. Haven't bought that many records lately. Been enjoying what I have mostly and working a lot and other stuff. But of course, I mean, I've been away for a month, so there's been a few records. There's been lots of building up orders, but I go to the record shops at least once a week here in Stockholm, and I thought I'd give like a little inside of the recent picks. This one I'm really happy with. Bill Nelson. He's been doing quite a few synth, new age, post-punk, industrial records. Quite often on the edge of being cheesy. This one is like vignettes from a performance he did between 81 and 83 called Chamber of Dreams, music from the Invisibility exhibition, which was a multimedia exhibition. And yeah, it's pretty good. I got a few of his records. He did like some soundtracks for silent movies. It's always interesting, but often also a bit frustrating. This one, the only frustrating part of it is how short the tracks are. But sometimes that's what you want, though, so. Population 1, Reductions 3, I believe. Population 1, or in his birth name, Terrence Dixon, is probably the one techno producer I'm excited about from Detroit. This is old stuff. This is an EP I've been after for a long time. It's just I wanted to find it in the wild. It's a cheap record. So Terrence Dixon has these signature, like asymmetric melodies, very almost like idiot savant, autistic music in a way. I really, really, really like his work. This is not like a major piece of his oeuvre, but it's one of the, the side stuff that is still worthwhile. It's someone, he released an album this year that is that is quite something, really one of the best records of this year, and one of his very best records. I guess way more than this, while still being minimalistic to its core. This is obviously techno music. This is kind of post-club. You can play this and have people go like very deep, but it's kind of like intellectual exercise, in my opinion. This is very inspiring to me, but it's very trippy. Yeah, you can call it techno, whatever. For me, this is before anything. This is trippy music, and good. Terrence Dixon, Population 1, from Detroit. fairly new record. I think it came out either this year earlier or last year. I'm not sure. Let me check. All people music, huh? No, yeah, this was released earlier this year on the Belgium label Laps, Laaps. This is Stigen Huvels with Tomoyoshi Date. Tomoyoshi Date, I think he's a multi-instrumentist. He's playing most of the stuff here. I believe he's the guy who has like an ambient music clinic in Tokyo where he heals people with music. Beautiful cover, by the way. So Tomoyoshi Date plays piano, harmonium, synths, field recordings, while Stigen Huvels plays the guitar, pedals. Most of the tracks are kind of eerie, beautiful like that. One has some Japanese poetry, not really singing. This one is called A Big Tree with a Bump That Is Older Than Me. You see, this could very well be New Age, but with the drony pad in the background, there's this balance between a certain level of tension and blissfulness. Yeah, this is a very beautiful record. I guess very Eno-esque in a way, even if I have very little love for Brian Eno. But yeah. It's fairly easy to do that kind of music. It's almost kind of a recipe. But when you manage to put everything in place and the delicate edge you manage to keep, to make it stand out a little bit, so that it's not just like ambient aesthetic music, well, you get stuff like that. Very charming record. Bo Nilsson, Swedish composer. massive. This is one of these records. How on earth do you dig this? Well, his name sounded familiar, but it wasn't who I believed he was. But this cover, come on. What did catch my attention was, of course, it was on the Suecia label. And inside, there was like a taped letter from the graphic designer who took the picture of the cover and sent it to the label manager and telling him how difficult it was to make the artwork, how boring it was. He's basically saying, yeah, it was alright. The cover with a lad. Covers have looked like that since 1951, no big deal. And he calls the artist genius, but like in quotes. Like, so it was pretty funny. But so this is modern classical, but the ending, this that we're listening to, whew, absolutely stunning. Like tight sand, and this is the third scene, kind of like a musique concrète, noise. Mostly done with percussions. It's a really, really, really cool record, especially that the little bit there. All right. A trio from Switzerland, UK, with Alex Buse on reeds and electronics. He's the main guy of the band. Guitars and electronics from Marcus Knudböhler and Knut Riemann on drums. But this record, this came out in 1994. That was issued for the first time on wax this year. Or last year, sorry. And this one features on bass G.C. Green from Godflesh and Kevin Martin, Bug, Techno Animal, God on samples. And it was released by Kevin Martin on his own label, Pathological. So this is kind of like an industrial free jazz, noise, experimental combo. And it's just massive. It's not the greatest artwork ever, but I saw them live, not in this incarnation, but like the three main guys. And there was not that many people in the venue, unfortunately. It was such a flow of energy. Oh my god, this was amazing. luckily enough, they had an EP on Digital Hardcore, Alec Empire's label, Atari Teenage Riot. And because I love this album, this CD so much, I bought it, and it's not that good. But it's pretty cool to finally have a record from the 1617 on wax that is one of the good ones, and the best one. So good. It's kind of funky in a very, very left field way. Something much more quiet. I can't believe I missed that record when it was released in 2014. Inexcusable. This is just perfect. I don't know how much you hear from this, but this is what I'm looking for in an ambient record. Well, it's more than ambient, obviously, but it took me 2 tries to get a good copy of this record. Some of the pressing had some issues, but finally got a copy that is good. This is the first album from Anjou. Anjou is a city in France, but this is not a French record. This is Robert Dune and Mark Nelson from Labradford. Labradford is like the post-rock band from the 90s. Basically the post-rock band. The band that kind of had the right balance between Talk Talk and Soviet France. I get goosebumps just thinking about it. Like, they have like 5-6 albums from like 92 to 2000, and they're all worth having. Stellar music. Maybe a little more if you lived when they were released, lived with them. But yeah, then it evolved into several projects, solo projects, etc., such as Pan American and a few others. And I was constantly thinking, because these old Labradford records, I constantly revisit them, listen back to them, and I felt like these guys can't have stopped making music. They're so good. And I don't know where I was looking for, but sometimes you got a blind spot. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe I was jaded when I read the names at one point. I don't know. Anyways, this is the first Anjou album from 2014. They got another one 3 years later, which is alright, but far from being as good as this. This is just sublime. Just this perfect balance of eeriness, something a little bit creeping. Sorry. not just whimsical, it's also it's getting somewhere pretty unique, I believe. Or that's how I would describe it. And the whole album is good. Really, like, it was difficult to pick a track to sample on this. But I would say that if you were to get into ambient music, this is a really, really, really good modern entry point. It's on Cranky. Cranky is probably one of the better labels of the past 30 years. All music styles. This is kind of like space rock, from which old rock has been taken away. Just fabulous. This is Headland. Probably my favorite dubstep producer of the past 5-6 years. He's from Australia, but this is obviously on a UK label. This is a 10-inch EP from last year. Garbo, I believe this is called. I mean, his EP, double EP from 2019, that was the shit. Impossible to top, in my opinion. He's got this very strange, very unique sense of melody, kind of almost like medieval in a way, which I find very it's almost comical in a way, but I don't know, it's pretty sexy. I've been passively looking for a good decade. I didn't find anywhere to listen to it online to see if it was worth like getting it online. So I thought, let's wait for me to find it out in the wild, and this finally happened. I'm interested in this record because it's the second record, one of the two records from a guy who I love and whose best record is on that very same label, Chiaroscuro, American label, for South African pianist Dollar Brand, Abdullah Ibrahim. Cape Town Fringe. This is the B-side, called The Pilgrim. His other record on Chiaroscuro, Hatch, The Journey, absolutely fantastic. And extremely dollar brand like. This one is he plays a little more remote. You got a lot of flute from Paul Michaels, I believe. Basil Coetzee, Robbie Jensen on drums. It needs a little bit of a cleaning, this record, but yeah. I found this in a thrift store like a couple of weeks ago. Ambient, but more on the electroacoustic side of things, experimental. This is a record I've been also passively after for 15 years or so. It's a good record, it's just not like in your face good. This is Andrew Schalk from Mirror, who also played with Organum and many other projects. This is him on side one with Ralph Wejowski from P16D4, using his sounds and remixing it. And this is the B-side with Eric Lindsay Lota. Eric Lindsay Lota issued this on his label Anomalous Records. It was also a distribution company in the early 2000s, late 90s, and he was one along your obligé of the early people on Discogs who were entering this kind of music and avant-garde stuff. We were just a little bunch there who was so techno-centric and IDM. And so we all knew each other, obviously. We all saw each other's on eBay, when it was only eBay to get records online that way. And yeah, he did that record label for a little while, and it was pretty cool. He released a few good records, and this is one of the very few records where he's featured himself. So this is kind of, you can hear, it's not drony directly, it's kind of, it reminds me of, this would sound like the very end of an Alvin Lucier record. I'm sitting in a room when all the frequencies are just muddled into like the most esoteric reverberation. It's a very rewarding listen. But I remember listening to it online and finding it semi-interesting, and then finding it in a shop and like finding it, it's alright, but I don't need it. And then trying it again recently and finally getting it. Yeah, I'm very happy with this record. Next record might get me into trouble. This is a mainstream record, although this is the first album from a band that has become massive, and And this album is often forgotten because it's a little bit different. It's kind of more indie in a way, even if it's from 81, I believe. Yeah, 81 or 83. Yes. 81. It's funny because it's also got a cover art that kind of reminds me of records that would be put out by Nurse with Wound or Death in June, bands like that. And yeah, there's one track on that record that I really liked, and it exists on 12-inch, but I've never been able to find a 12-inch, so I finally caved in and bought the album. It's a common album, it's just you don't see it too often in record shops, at least not in Sweden or in France. This is the first album from Eurythmics. Featuring Holger Shukai on French horn and Jackie Liebezeit on drums. Courtesy both of them courtesy of Can. Recorded by Conny Plank and produced by Conny Plank, obviously. There's even a few tracks with Robert Girl from DAF. This will probably get me blocked, so let's go to the next one. Next one is a record that I've been very familiar with because when it was released, I did an interview of them. Pretty good, intense, deep, thorough interview of them. I only got the digital version back then, but I listened to it for quite a while, and I'm pretty happy I've finally found the album secondhand in the wild. This is Sono, Live Metal. Stefan O'Malley, who's a stand-up dude who releases lots of good stuff, both his and other people through his he got his own imprint on Mego Edition, where he releases pretty cool stuff. Let's say that I often am put in the position to have to say thank you, Stephen, for releasing this on wax. So what is this? I guess the most vulgar way to describe it would be drone metal. Sono is originally, like a post-metal band. Like there's like this connection with Earth, this other like Seattle metal band, or I don't even know how to describe it. I'm not that. If you follow this channel, you already know my quibs with hard rock, metal, and stuff like that. But this is packaging. The package is really, really cool. With pretty cool inner sleeves. It's a band. This is a double LP, and this is the last track. It's a side-long track. It's quite an intense listen. cello, obviously. Or obviously, I don't know if it is to you, but yeah, this is the frequencies here. Actually, I said Sun O, but the name of the band is Sun. This is the logo of a famous amplifier, guitar amplifier that they used since the beginning of the band, but it's a silent O. Yeah, this was released on Southern Lord 2 years ago. Recorded and mixed on magnetic tape by Steve Albini. So good. Next, something a little bit odd. Barnett Childs, Clay Music, on the amazing Cold Blue label. Cold Blue released a series of 8 10-inch mini albums of modern classical minimalist music, and they're pretty fun to collect. Most of them are really good as well, so it doesn't hurt. But this is like an ensemble of clay instruments, music played, composed by Barnett Childs, and this features space whistles, transverse flute, tuba flutes, small necklace ocarinas, middle-sized ocarinas in E and C, bass ocarina, pipes, Aztec pipes, double pipe, triple pipes. And this was the last one from the series, the one I didn't have, the one I believe would be maybe the least interesting. And maybe it is, but as you can hear and hopefully enjoy, it's still pretty interesting. Not something I will necessarily listen to every day or every week or every month, but it's pretty cool to have an ocarina record of avant-garde music. Anyway, it was pretty cool to find this like that as well. Alright. Hello, the B-side, the extended version, the fresh dance mix Prince, obviously. B-side of Pop Life, EP, extended, obviously, very extended, with lots of these like breaks that makes it so cool. That's what I love about 80s pop music. All these versions with extended cuts where at the beginning of the third part you get all these breaks, drums, quirky edits. And it's cool to find this in the wild. This is a Canadian pressing that I got in Stockholm. Now a record that should be familiar to everyone here, but pressing that you don't see too often. The original Italian pressing of Brown Rice, Don Cherry. I got the Atlantic pressing, I got it like several times. This pressing, oh my god. I'm not one to usually talk too much about these kind of considerations. I usually don't care too much as long as it sounds okay and good and I can enjoy it. But now I have something to compare it to. And the Atlantic pressing, oh my god, is buried. This is so good. This is my favorite Don Cherry album. Is so much louder, this mix in this master. Anyways, yeah, we're approaching 45 minutes for only like what, like 15 records or so, not even, probably like between 10, 11, I don't know. I hope you enjoyed that. I'm sorry for the lack of videos of late. It is what it is. It's complicated. And yeah, there will be more videos soon. And yeah. So if you missed the videos and you're happy to see my ugly mug again, just say hi in the comment sections, and there'll be more reason to do so pretty soon. Alright, VC friends, whomever finds his way, her